Good morning. My name is Brent Flickinger, and I have the privilege of co-moderating this morning's session with Barbara Schneeman. This morning we're here to learn about big data and other innovative approaches to understanding dietary patterns in health. This program is brought to you by ILSI North America, the Food, Nutrition, and Safety Program, in cooperation with ASN. This Saturday morning session has been going on for over 2 decades. For most of those 2 decades, John Milner was the man at the mic. So we always like to remember him at the beginning, since he has unfortunately passed away several years ago. In addition, you can find more information here. There's a nice program. Hopefully many of you have them. There's abstracts for this morning's presenters, as well as a little bit of information about the objective of this morning's session. A little bit about ILSI FNSP. This program was started in 1985, and it brings together members of ILSI North America. That's an industry-sponsored organization, primarily food and ag science industries. And they come together with academic advisors to monitor, evaluate, and respond to emerging scientific issues and events related to nutritional quality or safety of specific food ingredients, food additives, or the food supply in general. So the mission of FNSP is very technical. So we help the organization, ILSI North America, as well as ILSI in general, plan the scientific meeting that they host every January, as well as the mid-year meeting where we bring in speakers to learn about emerging issues. We also then, at the annual meeting, have emerging issues sessions that help this iterative process, so members as well as our scientific academic advisors can give input to shape the program. And this topic here today came out of those efforts. One person we want to thank, well, many people to thank, but one person we want to thank especially on the ILSI staff is Courtney McComber. I don't see her right now. It's probably because she's busy helping someone out. But if you could actually give a round of applause to Courtney. She puts a lot of work into this. And so without further ado, I'll turn it over to my co-moderator, Barbara, to lead us into our first speaker.
Thank you, Brett, and it's a great honor to be involved with co-moderating this particular symposium. And many of us remember John. I think this is a topic John would love and really relish having ILSI tackle it in this kind of symposium. In organizing the symposium, I think the main question that the organizers were trying to think through is what is big data, but how is it currently being used in nutrition, and really to think out forward, what is the potential for its use? How do we as a society need to be positioning ourselves to tap into some of the benefits that big data can do and avoid some of the pitfalls? So when you look at the structure of the sessions, we're going to look a little bit at how it's used and has been used in the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, how it's been used in other areas of public health, what can we learn from those other applications, how is it being used to link food choices and genetic and epigenetic information. So we began to start pulling together different kinds of databases that contained significant amounts of data. How do you connect data sets? And then toward the other end, as it's been called small data, using mobile devices, which is much more of an individual versus a population collecting data. So I think the structure is really going to allow us to think through how it's being used and to start anticipating how it can be used. Before introducing the first speaker, I just wanted to share with you 2 quotes that occurred in the Wall Street Journal in the last 6-month period as we were thinking through. One was an opinion commentator, "Big data future has arrived." And what I find interesting in this quote is the first line, one of the most extraordinary features of big data is that it signals the end of the reign of statistics. And so my question is, do we agree with that? Is that the end of the reign of statistics? Or is that in fact a flag that says we need to be thinking about our analytic tools? Do we have the right tools in place now, and what do we need going forward? So the second quote I want to share with you is from the business section. Bosses tap outside firms to predict which workers might get sick. But the quote I pulled from that is, I bet I could better predict your risk of heart attack by where you shop and where you eat than by your genome. Again, sort of a provocative statement, but to me, it raises that question of, do we know all the sources of data that we should be tapping into? And do we have that ability to connect those various sources of data so that we're using it to the maximum capacity? So I hope between the sessions, the presentations, and the discussion, we can begin to stimulate some discussion around some of those areas.